Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to a reading for November 2022. We're just going to jump right in here. In your past position, this is going to represent your, I should say in your first position, this is going to represent your past. And you have two cards want to pop out here. You start off with this fixed moon. It says, hold your vision. And you also have the full moon in Cancer, which says a personal issue reaches resolution. For some of you, I feel that this could be a breakup, clearly, with the Three of Swords showing up here. So some of you are kind of maybe healing from that. And if it's not a breakup, I would just say that some of you are healing at this time. You have the Eight of Swords, but you also have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups, she kind of can represent going through a healing or, going through some sort of improvement in your life. So I do like to see that, but what I would also say is that the Three of Swords can represent forgiveness. So the easiest way to get unstuck from this Eight of Swords is probably going to be to forgive a situation in your life. It can also represent kind of forgiving yourself, because those swords are in your own heart on this card here, Sag. And, it basically says that you need to remove those swords from your heart by forgiving yourself. And that's kind of like what I feel here. I do feel that it's really important that you hold your vision at this time with that hold your vision card. Right next to it, you have the Lizard Spirit, which says dream the world into being. So that's one of my favorite cards in that Animal Oracle, Animal Spirit Oracle, whatever it's called. I can never remember. But whatever that is, to me, if we stay focused on our vision and then we kind of add more emotions and feelings and also more dreams and more ideas to it, that's when we start to build it in the real world. So it looks to me like you're building something into the real world here, Sagittarius. You have the Queen of Cups. And again, I feel like you're going through healing. Even from the Queen of Cups, like look at this. We go Queen of Cups to the Hangman to the Ten of Cups. So maybe you've been single for a hot minute, or maybe you're about to be single, or you have been single recently, because again, this is your past position. But I actually don't think there's going to be much of a delay. This is your future position, this row here, but I feel you're moving towards something much more significant in your life. And look, you're present. I love when this happens, when you show up as yourself in a very strong position, but also in a situation like this, where maybe there's a breakup or a separation, when you show up as present, it means that you actually want to be in whatever this is. So I know that sounds simple, but I love that. To me, it's definitely a good thing. I feel like you need to keep on dreaming as well with the Seven of Cups. He's imagining all those cups on the Seven of Cups. He's imagining good things, bad things, and everything in between. But he needs to manifest those cups on Earth, or at least he needs to manifest like one thing that is in the cups on Earth, because he might be dreaming of having a lot of different things, but he needs to kind of like pick something, hold his vision, as that hold your vision card says, and he needs to bring it down to Earth. I do kind of feel maybe some of you have been doubting whether or not you can have something that's part of your vision. Like again, maybe Ten of Cups is your vision, happy home, happy family, and maybe you're doubting that it exists in the past. But I kind of feel very quickly this is changing in the present. We'll talk about that. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is one of my cards of personal development. So if you've been doing any work on yourself or any healing or any personal development work, I feel like there will be a lot of success for you. Also, in work or business, I love Eight of Pentacles. To me, it's a card of material success on the horizon. So if you've been working on anything in general, I feel there could be a lot of success coming in for you here. With the Eight of Swords and the Three of Swords, you have the Eight of Swords, needing to realize that you're not stuck. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. So I feel like you need to set yourself free from either a heartbreak or a healing, basically, is what I would say here. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like you're hoping to end something. I kind of get a lot of hopes in this first position, but again, it's more like the hopes are thinking like, oh, is it possible to have true love in a family? Is it possible to make a bunch of money? Is it possible to heal? Or whatever it is you're trying to do. I kind of feel, I never feel that on the Wheel of Fortune. But again, I read intuitively, and that's what I'm getting here, is that you're kind of like in the past hoping that something is possible. What I love about this reading is that in the future, in your present position, you have this Panther Spirit, says reclaim your power, and you have this Lizard Spirit, which says dream your world into being, which tells me you are reclaiming your power. And I also feel you're starting to see that it is possible for you to have whatever it is you want. So I would keep dreaming. It's kind of funny that I have the lizard card there. It is popping into my head as steps. Like usually when we think about doing something or when we want to manifest something, we think about it, we dream it, but maybe then we start adding emotion to it, we start feeling it, and then we need to start putting it into the real world. And for whatever reason, it's popping into my head as important, especially the feeling part of things. So I feel maybe that's what's missing. Like, let's say you want your happily ever after. It's like maybe you have an idea of what you want, but are you actually feeling it? The problem with not having a relationship but wanting one is that most people, what do they focus on? Not having a relationship. They focus on being single. I'm sure we all have that one friend that's always miserably single, right? They're always talking about how miserable they are that they're single. Like when you start acting like you're not single, then you're going to attract someone, right? So I get this energy of needing to like feel as if you already have the thing that you want, whether it's love, business, money, spirituality, health, doesn't matter. I feel like adding the feeling of what it feels like is going to help you. You have the Page of Pentacles, the Hangman, and the Five of Pentacles. I feel like you're learning something new. I feel like you've been through a very long period of time where you've had to learn like what gives to you and what doesn't give to you with that Six of Pentacles. I feel like you've done a lot of learning on kind of what is fair, what situations are fair, what situations aren't fair, what you expect and what other people expect, like all those things are popping into my head. And, I also feel this could be a new person coming in for you as well. But next you have the Hangman, and the Hangman is a card of gaining enlightenment. So again, I feel like you've learned all these answers. I'm getting a major learning vibes. The Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness. So I feel you have been learning quite a bit about pretty much everything, really. And you have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is like feeling left out in the cold. And, I feel some of you have kind of been feeling left out of something. I don't know what, and it could be love for sure. Maybe all your friends have love, but you don't. Maybe all your friends have money, but you don't. I feel I kind of have that left out feeling here on the Five of Pentacles. Again, wouldn't even worry about it. The good news is this is clearly changing very quickly. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Cups. Definitely a knight in shining armor coming in for you here. I do feel that for some of you, this could be someone who sweeps you off your feet, who really kind of takes your breath away. Definitely kind of gives me the vibes of like a dream person. Again, it doesn't matter what gender it is, but I feel like it's something, nobody's perfect. I always like to remind people that you're never going to find someone who's perfect. It's impossible. And why would you want someone who's perfect anyway? Having a perfect person would be like the worst thing ever anyway, because wouldn't feel real. You would be dating a robot at that point. So what I would say here is that nothing is perfect, but this person's pretty darn close. Let's put it that way. With the Hangman, you have the Five of Pentacles, feeling left out in the cold. You basically have it twice in the same position. On the traditional Five of Pentacles, this is an anchor right here. You can kind of see the anchor that's right here in between those pentacles. And so I feel for some of you, you have felt anchored or like stuck to something, or like you can't shake something. And again, I feel it's quite simple what's been missing, and that is feeling. It's like I feel you feel one way, but you actually need to feel as if you already have what you want. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Cups. Are you freaking kidding me? Nine of Cups is my card of feeling like you have what you want. I always say that the guy in the Nine of Cups, he normally looks chubby and he's about to have a feast. The reason he looks chubby is because he has had a feast in the past. The Nine of Cups represents feeling something before you have it. And people always say, like, how do I feel something before I have it? I'm like, well, if you want love, go love a dog, go love a cat, go love nature, go do your hobby. Like, if you have a hobby, if you don't have one, get one that you love. Because, again, when we are in the energy of what we want, it doesn't have to be the exact thing, but when we're in the energy of what we want, then we attract great things. I always tell a story. For like 3.5 years of my life, I did nothing. And I'm convinced, right, that what changed my life is walking. I started walking every single day after basically doing nothing for 3.5 years or so. And literally my life turned around like very, very quickly after that. So, and I think it was because I was getting out of my head. I was doing something I enjoyed, and I was also moving the energy forward. And I feel like that's what this Nine of Cups is talking about for you, Sagittarius. Maybe you don't have to go walking, but if you want love, go be in love. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. If you want, money, go be around abundance, right? And, that's how you're going to attract what you want, plain and simple. Next, in the area of your future, You have this Griffin card. It says honor and luck. You also have the seduction card. It says passion and romance await. Love it. Definitely a very good love reading if you want love. Even if you don't want love, I feel like you need to be seductive to the things that you want. There's a major energy this month of like attracting things. Pretty much every single person has had very attractive readings, but I kind of feel it's Jupiter's retrograding back into Pisces, and as I've said to everyone else, we have Neptune in Pisces, which is already like manifestation on steroids, but you add Jupiter to the mix, it's like times a million. So if you want to attract things, I would say then, are there things in your life that you can move around or clean up to attract things that you want into your life? I always tell people, it's like if you want love, clean your bedroom if it's a mess, because if your bedroom is a mess, or your apartment or your house is a mess, you're probably not going to invite someone over to a messy apartment. So you're pushing love away by having something like a messy bedroom, right? Just to give you an example, not telling you what to do either. I'm just giving you some ideas here. If you want money, it's like there are certain habits that successful people do. It's like, can you embrace those habits before you have money? Because if you do that, then money's going to be attracted to you, right? And that's what I would be doing. I'd be thinking to myself with this seduction card, how can I become a magnet to the things that I want? You have the Six of Pentacles, the Temperance card, and the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is like fortune after difficulty, happiness, good news, good things coming in for you. All sorts of good stuff. So I feel there is a lot of happiness, but I also feel that this is what you really want. Those are the words that are popping into my head. It's going to be different for all of you because, of course, not all of you want love. It could be money. It could be whatever your happily ever after is. I frequently say that really the Ten of Cups is your happily ever after, whatever you think would kind of lead to a lot of happiness in your life. And they're still having to deal with the problems of the world, but they're choosing happiness. So maybe their life isn't perfect, but they always work towards happiness. They always work towards being more happy. You have the Temperance card here, and again, I get a really good feeling that this is showing up in this part of the reading. To me, it's really saying that you're very present, that you're like here in this part of the reading. You're embracing this part of the energy. So, like I said, I feel like you're attracting things very quickly. This right here is the path to glory, and you can see this crown up here, and this angel's trying to turn things around so he can get up this path and get to that crown. And when I kind of get a little bit of a feeling of needing to make sure you don't give up on something. I kind of get this feeling, and you do have the Eight of Pentacles here as well, that you've put a lot of work into kind of creating a transformation. I feel this is saying, like, don't throw it all away. Make sure you hold on to the transformation. Make sure you kind of solidify it. I get this thing here about developing good habits. It kind of reminds me, like years ago, I did the keto diet for for a full year, right? I lost a ton of weight, and then I get it all back, right? So I didn't do things to, maintain the environment that I had created for myself in the first place, and something that I'm working on, that I want to work on right now personally, right? Just to share things with you. But what I would say here is, that's what I would be doing. I'm not saying it has to do with your health either, but I do feel that, again, there could be certain habits or certain things that you're developing, that if you really commit to putting them in place, I think it'll change your life forever. Next, you have the Six of Pentacles. Give to things that give back to you, is what this says. For me, does junk food give to me? No. Maybe it makes me feel good for a second, but it's just like food addiction, right? So does it really make me feel good? Hell no. And that's what the Six of Pentacles says. It's like, does something really give to you, or is it fake? Is it just breadcrumbing you along? Is it just bait, So I feel for some of you, it's kind of funny that's popping into my head as bait. It's like, are you being baited into situations, seduced into situations, or are you the one that's doing the seducing? I would become the seducer here, Sagittarius, and we're not talking about in a toxic way. Let's call it a magnet. I would become a magnet here for the things that you desire. So let's see. Let's see here. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, it's going to be work. See, I knew that this was going to be work because I was talking about the diet, right? And so it's going to be work, but I think it's going to be worth it. Whatever you're thinking about doing here. For a lot of you, I do feel these are like changing money habits, so you can have more abundance. And then I feel like, the thing with having more abundance is when you have more abundance, you attract more abundance. So you become more abundant, and you're just creating these positive snowballs, which, I have been encouraging people to create positive snowballs all year, because I think, as we move throughout this year, then especially when we get to next year and then beyond, there's a lot of positive snowball energy, but you have to grab onto it. You have to create the snowball in the first place. With the Temperance card, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is a change in direction. So I do feel like you could be making changes. Like if you've been working on something for a long time and it's not transforming, it's not changing, I kind of get this feeling that you're just done banging your head against the wall. So I feel this is saying any situation in your life that isn't willing to make a change, you're just going to move on. Things that do change, that do evolve, that grow with you, you'll keep those things in your life. Love it. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Six of Wands. This is going to lead to a lot of success. This is how you do it, Sagittarius, right here. This is like how you do life, right? Is paying attention to what works, getting rid of the rest, and, there you go. And people always say to me, it's like, yeah, of course, that's obvious advice to, focus on what works. I'm like, yeah, but people don't do it, right? I still eat pizza all the time, right? Am I supposed to be doing that? Hell no, right? So it's like, I know what's easy, which is actually not to eat the pizza, right? Because it leads to bad results. So it's like it's not obvious advice. It's not even obvious to me. So what I would say here is that I feel like this is good because I feel like you're actually kind of integrating things into your life. Love it. You have the snake card. It says desire, attraction. Very attractive at this time as well. You have this triangle. It says choices, indecision. Here, I don't think there is any indecision. This is your outcome position, by the way. I feel like the decision is to let things go that cause burdens in your life. You have the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands can be carrying too heavy burdens or, carrying a heavy weight or carrying something that no longer serves you. You have the Four of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands, I feel, again, is saying that there are things that no longer serve you. I feel like there are things that are just burdens. Just, that's it. They just cause too much difficulties, too many challenges. I also get the feeling of kind of, I feel like saying to you, do you need to learn something again? It's like sometimes I feel with the Ten of Wands, it's like, yeah, he planted those wands. He's bringing them back to his home so he can have a harvest. But at the same time, it's like, do you really need to learn something again? I feel like you've done this before, is what I feel like saying. So I feel like saying, like, it's kind of like saying drop the burdens because you've already learned the lessons. I also get this feeling of carrying too much people's stuff, right? Sometimes I think we take on responsibilities from other people for whatever reason. And I do feel this is saying, hey, look at the things that you're carrying on your shoulders because maybe they're not yours. Maybe these are, some of the burdens that you're carrying are not your burdens. I have the Four Agreements popping into my head. And I used to know the Four Agreements off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there is like an agreement that is, and I'm not going to remember it either, right? No assumptions. But also it's not no assumptions. There's another one that I'm not going to remember. I don't know. I'll try to put it in the comments, but, basically sometimes I think we take things on from people because, we feel like we should and, don't take things personally. And, that one is popping into my head with that Ten of Wands. Maybe you take something personally. It's like you're taking on a burden from a person, and I'm zoning out so I can put myself in your shoes. And I feel like you need to not do that for whatever reason. You have the Queen of Swords. There's a great deal of clarity coming in for you. She is kind of pointing to this card here, so I'm going to take it. Are you kidding? You have the Stars card. It says a long journey brings rewards. I feel like there are rewards. You finally know what you need to work on to bring rewards into your life. You also have the Four of Pentacles, again, releasing something. I feel what you're releasing. And again, sometimes I think us spiritual people, right? I think sometimes we take on burdens because we want to feel needed, and that's kind of like the feeling I get here with that Four of Pentacles is it's like sometimes maybe we end up with toxic people because we want to feel like we're needed. I don't know how else to say it. And it's popping into my head that for some of you, I feel like you need to let that go. And I feel like you need to be, how do I word this? I feel like you need to be with a person who is like there for you. Let's just put it that way. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Four of Swords, recovery. Yeah, I feel like you're healing from this. Like you're healing from that type of behavior. If you happen to have been in relationships where you are always like doing things for the person because you want to be needed. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But again, I feel you need the opposite. I feel like you need someone to take care of you for a little bit of time. That's like the feeling I get here. With the Queen of Swords, you have the World, major accomplishments. If you're traveling, by the way, amazing. You have that Star card. A long journey brings rewards. You have the World, literally traveling. So if you're traveling, moving, even if you're like changing jobs or just completing a cycle, I feel there's a lot of success there. And with the Ten of Wands, you have the Page of Swords. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to look into this. Page of Swords is like detective energy. I always say that. To me, he's like the energy of flipping over rocks. He kind of looks under things. He really looks into things. And, if you're carrying burdens or if you're feeling anxious or if you're feeling any feelings at all, maybe you need to look at them and say, like, is this me? Is this someone else? What is this, And I do this all the time. It's like sometimes I'll have days where I feel angry or sad or whatever, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not me. So I always ask myself the question, like, who are these my own feelings? And sometimes just asking the question clears the energy, because it's like, if it's like, no, it's not, you're picking up on someone else, just clears the energy, right? Some of you might need to do that. Like if you're having weird feelings, maybe to be like, are these mine or do they belong to someone else? Asking the question could just remove it. We are going to do a personalish reading now. So 3 cards. Feel free to pause the video and think of a question. I'm just going to do one question. If you don't have a question, that's fine too. I'm going to put all 3 together at the end, but pause now because I'm going to read the cards. You have the 3 of Pentacles, the 4 of Swords, and the Empress. So for some of you, again, if you're asking a yes, no, I would say yes here. Number 2, I feel there's a ton of abundance coming in from work that you've already done. So if somebody out there is asking about kind of like work that you've already been doing, and I do feel there is success coming in for you. Like if you're waiting to get paid, or if you've done work and you're waiting to get attention, I also feel the same thing, that there's attention coming in. I also feel like there's about to be a speed up in your abundance. Like you've done a lot of work. 4 Swords, there's been a break. Empress, there's a bunch of abundance coming in for you. So love it, Sagittarius. Really good reading. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.